Union Home Minister Amit Shah tables the Constitution Amendment bills in the Lok Sabha, aiming to remove Prime Ministers or Chief Ministers facing serious criminal charges and detention for 30 days. Opposition tear and throw copies of the bill at the Home Minister. In what seems to be a game-changing move, Lok Sabha passes the Online Gaming Bill 2025, banning all cash-based online games. Offenders will now face up to 3 years jail term, rupees 1 crore in fine, or both of these punitive actions. It's the fourth day, and the Mumbai suburbs continue to reel under floods. Vasai's Evershine Circle still submerged, vehicles stranded, residents wading through water, and Nashik facing a flood-like situation as well. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar meets first Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Denis Manturov, in Moscow. The United States tightens citizenship rules by introducing good moral character test. The USCIS says citizenship is a privilege offered only to the world's best of the best. In a major boost, India successfully test fires nuclear-capable Agni-5 missile from Chandipur in Odisha. The launch validates all operational and technical parameters under the Strategic Forces Command. Superstar Rajnikant's Coolie grosses rupees 216 crore net revenue in India, crosses rupees 400 crore worldwide. Film stars Rajnikant, Nagarjuna, Shruti Hassan and Amir Khan in a special cameo in Coolie. And our top focus this news wheel, because right from Bhiwani's horror to Chitradurga's tragedy, the names keep on changing, but the story remains the same. A young daughter who never made it back home, and families forced to fight for justice before they can even grieve their loss. It's a heartbreaking day for the entire nation, one where collectively the entire nation's head should hang in shame, with two shocking cases reported from opposite ends of the country. First up, in Haryana's Bhiwani, where a 19-year-old teacher was brutally murdered, her body dumped in a field. And then in Karnataka's Chitradurga, the partially burnt body of a 20-year-old BA student was discovered 2 days after she went missing. Two young lives that were cut short, two families left shattered, and yet another reminder of the grim reality women in the country face today. Now, out of these two cases, let's first shift our focus to what really happened in Bhiwani in Haryana. This is the entire case where a Bhiwani teacher's mutilated body was found later. Let's take you through the tragic tale of Bhiwani, where a young teacher, she went missing on the 11th of August after visiting a nursing college for admission inquiries. 2 days later, on the 13th of August, her body was found abandoned in a field. Police initially claimed that she died after consuming poison. And the police said a bag was found near the body. It contained a suicide note, her Aadhaar card and other documents. They also said that there was proof that Manisha had bought insecticide earlier. However, the post-mortem report ruled out sexual assault. But the family has now rejected this version. The family and the villagers, they're demanding the arrest of those responsible for her murder. The kin earlier refused to claim the body till the accused was arrested, but have now agreed to conduct the final rites and the funeral. The family is not even completely grieving yet and have already taken on the charge of carrying out justice, calling for justice to be carried out in Manisha's case.
मेरी तो यही मांग है जी, मेरी लड़की को न्याय मिल जाए और ये जो जनता चाहे ये खुशी खुशी उसका समर्थन दे मेरे को, ठीक है।
पुलिस और प्रशासन चाह रहा है कि दाह संस्कार कर दिया जाए, दाह संस्कार को लेकर
ये तो सर देखो, ये जो पब्लिक इतनी जो जुड़ी हुई है, इनकी सलाह मशवरा से ये जो होगा ठीक है, पब्लिक करेगी।
Now, the Haryana government has announced that the case will now be handed over to the CBI for a thorough investigation. Chief Minister Nayaab Singh Saini, he said that he is personally monitoring the case and assured the family that full justice will be ensured. Listen in.
मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि मनीषा और मनीषा के परिवार को न्याय देना हमारी सरकार का दायित्व है। कोई भी व्यक्ति होगा वो बचेगा नहीं, उसके खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई होगी।
हमने पुलिस को सख्ती से लेटर भेजा है कि 24 घंटे के अंदर इन सुरागों को ढूंढिए, कौन है वो लोग जिन्होंने इतनी जालमी से इस बच्ची को मारा है। ऐसे तो हमारी बच्चियां बाहर निकलने में घबराएंगी। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने ऑलरेडी पुलिस के खिलाफ आदेश दिए थे, कुछ को सस्पेंड किया, एसपी का तबादला हुआ, परंतु महिला आयोग भी उन लोगों को बख्शेगा नहीं।
Well, now the case did take a sensational twist with the Lawrence Bishnoi gang now entering the picture. In an online post, Lawrence Bishnoi and his associate Goldie Dhillon have threatened that if the Haryana police fail to deliver justice, their gang will ensure that the accused is killed. Joining me on the broadcast here is my colleague Sneha Koshi. Sneha, when we're looking at these developments, of course, one from Chitradurga, this one from Bhiwani, clearly no space seems to be safe for women. But what does that mean for the entire country's social fabric? Of course, there's gender parity, but our women still fear stepping out in the wee hours. And are we doing enough collectively as a society to take care of that? The salient features that you're learning from Haryana and, of course, the social fabric aspect.
Kabir, very important questions, but before I answer those questions, let me just take our viewers through these very troubling details. This is a 19-year-old young woman, a 19-year-old young woman who was a play school teacher. Her job to teach 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, possibly some 1.5-year-olds also, how to begin their lives. Her life snuffed out brutally. That's the reality of this 19-year-old woman. The outrage on the streets that we are witnessing at this point is not new. India, year after year, has seen such outrages. Whether it be in the north, what we are seeing in Bhiwani now, whether it be in the national capital, which we have seen, the tipping point perhaps was the Nirbhaya case, which saw many changes, drastic changes in how the law was also written and perceived, or whether you have south of India, whether it be the horrible Jisha case in Kerala, other cases in Karnataka, time and again. But here's just the sheer brutality of it all at the front of it. A play school teacher, a 19-year-old young woman who's possibly just finished her schooling, she's a play school teacher, as I said, but she was trying to get her admission done into a nursing college. That's the reality of what we are looking today. Anger on the streets. You're seeing all of these visuals on the screen. This has been going on for 3 days now. The police at this point has completely ruled out the possibility of, say, a rape or sexual assault, at least for what they say is based on the viscera reports as well as the autopsy. However, based on what the family has been claiming, now the body is being sent for a third autopsy to AIIMS. And amid it all, the family has refused the last rites of the body, saying they have just not got justice. Now, coming back to your question, Kabir, and we did hint about this. This is the truth. This is the reality, the gory horror. In fact, I know of many women who have children themselves and go out to work. and they have to return homes, leaving a message for their family members that they are back. Such is the worry, such are the concerns in several parts of India. But here's the outrage on the streets. Remember, it's a 19-year-old woman, sadly, not an exception at all. And Kabir, it's back to you, because it's not just Bhiwani today we are talking about. There's something obnoxious, horrible, horrifying in Chitradurga as well.
No, you're absolutely right, Sneha. We will shift our focus to Chitradurga, but then again, those questions that have now come to light. Many thanks, Sneha, for helping us put this story into perspective of what we're picking up and learning from Bhiwani, and the sensational twist here being that the Lawrence Bishnoi gang has now taken matters into their own hands. At least that's what a social media post tells us, that if the accused is not killed, well, then they know how to carry out justice their own way. Gangland justice, and they've done it time and again. But just like Sneha pointed out, this is a case that is being reported not just from one portion of the country. The length and breadth of the country suffers from this plague, where women have to go back home and text their loved ones that they have in fact made it back home, which is why the acrimonious scenes on the streets, right from Bhiwani to Chitradurga, and now to the Chitradurga horror, where rage is boiling on the streets. You can clearly see visuals on your screens. After a partially burnt body of a 20-year-old student that was found 2 days after she had gone missing. This is a second-year BA student who had left her hostel on the 14th of August and did not return. Her parents had come to lodge a missing complaint and were informed of her death, leaving them in shock and grief. The police suspect that she was raped and murdered, and her body was set on fire to destroy the evidence. The Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, the ABVP, led a torchlight rally through the city's main streets with hundreds of students demanding justice. Raising slogans, they call for the immediate arrest of the accused and the strictest punishment being meted out, saying only swift action can restore confidence amongst the women and the students in Chitradurga. Meanwhile, Dalit organizations staged a road blockade and a dharna outside the district hospital. Protesters were warned that unless justice is delivered quickly, the protesters will continue to intensify their agitation. And the city remains on edge as anger mounts and demands grow louder for swift investigation and exemplary punishment in the Varshitha murder case. My colleague Mohammad Wajiullah, tracking developments from Ground Zero, joins us on the phone line here. Waji, we were earlier talking about Bhiwani, but let's shift our focus to what's happening in Chitradurga now. Clearly, the ire of the people out there on the streets, the ABVP carrying out their protests, Dalit organizations carrying out a road blockade. But what's being done in terms of the probe? Where does this leave the interrogation in this case?
Well, absolutely, Kabir. The incident itself is as gruesome as it sounds. The burning body of a girl, and after that, the way the investigation has moved, the police is still trying to identify. They have collected the evidences from the spot. A forensic analysis has also been done. They are examining CCTV footage to find out what led to the murder at that particular spot and why did it happen in such a gruesome manner. What could have led to this? Was it a love affair? Was it something else? Was it an outrage between lower caste, upper caste? All these angles are being looked into by the police without any concrete idea of what actually happened, because the body was found mysteriously. But what we are seeing is the public outrage for a very important incident that has happened in Chitradurga, which has united both the Dalit the organizations and the ABVP, who otherwise are always seen fighting against each other. But this particular incident has clearly highlighted the importance of it, showcasing that how these two organizations have also come fighting for justice. And it now remains to be seen how long the police take, because this is now adding pressure also on the police that everyone in Chitradurga demands justice with regards to the 19-year-old girl who was burnt over there. So it now remains to be seen how much time will the police take going through the CCTV footage. Now with the thing, with them identifying the lady, the task might become a little more easier, because they will start questioning the family members, her friends, to understand the background and which or where was she. So all these things will also be pieced together. So we will have to wait and watch the police to come about with their version of the story. Unless and until we will continue to see the Dalit organizations, ABVP workers protesting, and the entire city erupting and demanding for justice, because what they've seen is a 19-year-old girl being burnt. and what is the conclusion is that it could be done to destroy evidence. So all these things adds on to the imagery, and it also impacts the people's life who are living in a city like Chitradurga, which otherwise is also a small district.
No, you're absolutely right, Vaji, because these are personal, these are pertinent questions. They talk about personal privacy, and we need to continue to talk about this. What now is going to happen is that it's incumbent on the probing authorities to instill some sort of confidence, because the people, right from the horror that we've seen in Bhiwani to the shocker that has come to light from Chitradurga, 19-year-old, 20-year-old women, their lives snuffed out completely. One was a play school teacher, the other trying to, well, get through with her admission. I mean, these are cases that really break you down, and we need to ask ourselves as a society whether we are sensitizing ourselves enough. Well, we're going to slip into a quick commercial breather here. Top developments right on the other side. Keep it with News 9.
This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching